Talking with junior Alisha Breen. Alisha, the MSU Billings women's basketball team's coming off a great win against Rocky last night. Let's start there. Let's talk a little bit about that. Lost to them last week and then came back and were down in the first quarter and needed to come back. Talk about what your team was able to do and some of the key players.
You know, for us, like you said, we lost last Tuesday. We kind of had a fire built under us. That intercity game is always huge. It was our first game. There were a ton of nerves for that first one. But the second one, everybody kind of buckled down, settled in, started the game. Again, only the second game, I think nerves showed a little bit. But then, we kind of came to life. We had huge sparks off the bench. I think in the first half it was Taylor Edwards that was huge for us, started that run in the second quarter. Marissa played great. Vanessa played great off the bench. Really, everybody who came off the bench gave us great minutes. And then second half, we came out a little slow again, but then after the first couple minutes, we really lit a fire, and you could just tell that everybody wanted it. All that work we put in over the last week helped a lot down the long run. Monica, I think, had like 7 points right in a row that really blew that wide open for us. And then from there, everybody else caught fire and started knocking down shots, and we just didn't look back from there.
So both games are exhibition games. You start the regular season at home this year with the PacWest GNAC Yellowjacket Classic. You were going to be hosting 3 teams, Simon Fraser, Academy of Art, and Cal Baptist, so some really quality opponents. You're going to start right out the bat on Friday with Cal Baptist, who you haven't played before. Talk a little bit about this week and kind of how you're preparing yourself for the beginning of the regular season.
This week is huge for us. We only have 2 days before our first game, but Jenny and Coach have been preparing us defensively, especially for these 2 teams that are coming in, because they're both extremely talented, successful teams that we're going to have to play a great game defensively, offensively, all the way around. Everyone's going to have to show up. For us, it's a good starter point for the year to see 2 teams out of different divisions that are so successful. Cal Bap was the national runner-up last year, so it's going to be a good starting point to see where we are in really the general scheme of the whole U.S. I think we're preseason picked 3rd, so like I said, it'll just be a good starting point for us.
And Cal Bap returns 4 of their 5 starters. This team has 2 back from last year, and then Janelle Olsen in 3. Talk a little bit about where the team's at right now, kind of chemistry-wise, and how you're coming together.
It's definitely a new team. We're still really young, and then with Tiana coming in, we still have growing pains. We haven't played with her for very long. I think the farther into our year we go, she's going to develop and just fit in a little bit better, and she's going to be huge for us. She's going to be a huge key. The same with Janelle. She hasn't played in 20 months. Watching, nobody would know from the crowd if they didn't know that she'd been sitting out. She's playing great. But just forming into that, and then with the freshmen coming off the bench, it's hard at the beginning of the year. You don't mesh as well as you should. So it's, like I said, growing pains, but we'll get there.
And the second team on Saturday you'll face is Academy of Art. You yourself have actually played them in the first round of the West Region Tournament 2 years ago. Talk a little bit about that team and how you can make that quick turnaround from Friday to Saturday.
Academy of Art, extremely, extremely athletic. Like you said, I played them my freshman year at regionals, and then they were very sophomore heavy, so that means those sophomores are now seniors, so they're extremely experienced, and for them, that's going to be a huge benefit going into the game. But they also have to travel to Montana. I'm sure none of them have probably been to Montana. Maybe we'll have some snow to help us out a little bit. But that quick turnaround, it's going to be a huge mental aspect for a lot of the girls, because you don't have to play back-to-back games very often. But if, we just show up and play our game, like I said, they're going to be fast, athletic, but play our game, slow them down, make them adjust a little bit into I think we're going to be overall a little bit bigger, so hopefully we can pound the glass on them. But just play our game and get them out of sync a little bit.
So I know we're really excited to have all the quality opponents, and it's a good thing for the program to bring in these kind of schools. Talk a little bit about what the fans can expect those 2 days.
They're both teams. It's going to be a different style of basketball, I think, especially for us in the GNAC. I remember going down to regionals my freshman year, and it's just a different style. So watching, for the fans, I think it'll be interesting for them to see 2 styles come together and see, whoever's the best come out on top. But it'll be fun basketball, stuff that you don't see. Bigger girls, more athletic girls, craftier, just different things like that. So the more people that come out to support us, I think they'll be in for a treat.
I'm here talking with MSUB women's head coach Kevin Woodin. Kevin, the team played last night, played a great game against Rocky Mountain College. Lost to them last week, but were able to come back and get the win. Talk a little bit about your team's performance last night.
Well, I was proud of them. We got off to a slow start. We could not put the ball in the basket in the first quarter. I think we were behind 16-8. But then from that point on, I thought we battled pretty hard. Got back into the game by halftime, and then the third quarter was pretty evenly played, both teams. But then we finally had a nice run early in the fourth to get that double-digit lead, and then hung on to win. I thought Rocky played very well, and we had to play well to beat them, and I was pleased with our performance.
And you had some people step up for you. Janelle Olson, Alisha Breen all made some key shots. Monica Grimsrud had that 7-0 run to kind of spark everybody in the second half. Talk a little bit about some of the players that have come in and made a difference.
Well, our seniors, you mentioned Janelle and Monica. I thought they both played great second halves, and they led by example as well. Then we got, our usual dependable Alisha played well down the stretch, and I thought bench play was critical last night. We got some excellent minutes from Taylor Edwards. She played approximately 10 minutes at point guard, had 3 assists, no turnovers, hit a couple big shots for us. Vanessa Stavish hit a really nice three-pointer in the corner at a key time. Did some really good things off the bench, and then Marissa Van Atta just battled very hard. Was around the ball a lot. Those 3 really impacted the game off the bench for us, and that was big.
So both games were exhibition games. You're going to open the regular season at home this year with 2 big games during the GNAC PacWest Yellowjacket Challenge. Talk a little bit about the teams that are coming in and kind of what people can expect.
Well, I think it's the best field we've ever had for our tournament that we run annually. Cal Baptist, who made the regional last year, upset the #1 team at the region in Anchorage, and then got hot, won the regional, went to the Elite 8, won their first 2 games, and played in the national championship, and returned the nucleus of that team. They have 4 starters back, so they're very good, very athletic, have balanced scoring, and that should be a great contest. The other contest on Friday night is Simon Fraser and Academy of Art. They're both perennial, very good teams. Simon, obviously, in our conference. Academy of Art's been very good in the Pac-West. We had a 1-point win over them a couple years ago in the first game of the regional, but they've been a winning team consistently over the years. Both of those are. So that's, I think, it sits on paper as being a great field on Friday night, and then Simon and us will flip-flop opponents on Saturday. But I think people, if they come out and watch, you're going to see a lot of great basketball players and good teams.
And how are you preparing your team this week? You have such a short turnaround.
I think at this point in the season, we will scout, and I'm sure they're doing the same, but we're really more worried about how we play. Most of our time, we're still trying to perfect our spacing on offense, our communication on defense, trying to determine what the best thing for us to do is. Sure, we'll look at the stats and some of the video from this season, but it's really hard to get because this is opening weekend. So some of the video has to be from last year, and you'll get to see some of the players, but some of the key players may have already graduated. So I don't think scouting will be as big as it might be the second time around in our conference or just with teams, later in the year. So I think you'll see a lot of players just playing, hopefully loose and trying to make plays out there. I think there's a lot of good athletes, and it'll come down to the little things like, just taking care of the basketball, getting good shots, and not hurting yourself. And I think if we can do that, and give ourselves an opportunity to win, hopefully being at home will help too, and we can come out and steal a win or 2.
And you mentioned that being at home. What does it mean to you and to the program to open at home?
I think it's great. We have quite a home stretch here of games over the next 3 or 4 weeks, and I'm hoping that we can get some momentum. We had a great crowd last night in the Rocky game, and hopefully people will come out and support this tournament this weekend. It's just our players are all from Montana, so they're relatively local, so a lot of their families are there. They're excited for that, but at the same time, you still have to play. But I'm hoping that home court will treat us well.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you.